I'm not one of them people that says C's get degrees, because C's get degrees but they don't get into grad school. Like I said, I don't have to stress about finals because I've been putting in the work from that before the first exam. What my professor is going to take 3 hours to say, maybe Nurse Kathy from Level Up RN, she gonna get it done 5 to 10 minutes.
It's time.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you don't know me, my name is Denasia, but you can call me Nay, and that is no E. So today's video is going to be yet another video of Vlogmas. I think this will be the third video on Vlogmas. The first one was decorating. Second one was a week in the life of a nursing student, which is my regular series that I do on my channel, just Vlogmas edition. And then the third one is going to be this video, which is how I study in nursing school. So if you watch my week in the life of a nursing school videos, you know that I am very transparent about my grades. I do grade checks pretty much every video. Every video I take a test, I tell y'all what I get on the test. Some people believe in moving or silence and all that. I really don't, because I think it's nice to show y'all. Well, I do kind of, but in this case scenario, I chose to show my journey of going through nursing school, because I really wanted someone to watch before I was in nursing school to kind of, you know, help me know what to expect. And I documented my entire journey from the moment I started nursing school up to now. Y'all saw my grades I was getting my first semester. They were good, but they're definitely not as good as they are now. Now your girl's eating it up. Pretty much all A's. Fingers crossed I'll end this semester with all A's. But yeah. So I am pretty much done with the semester. I've taken all of my ATI CAP exams. I've taken all of my tests. Really, all I just have left is finals. So I thought this would be the perfect time to just give y'all a how I study in nursing school video, just because my study method is kind of set in stone now. Next semester it will definitely change, because I'm going to be taking classes that are very different from the ones I've taken now. I'm going to be taking critical care, peds, and OB. So definitely stay tuned for that. I'll probably do an updated video after I take those videos. This semester I've taken, what have I taken? I've taken med surg, I've taken psych, I've taken nurse research, I've taken older adults, fundamentals, assessment, and I'm missing something. Then at my school we take a class called lifestyle, basically. So those are all the classes that I've taken. I have done fairly well on my journey as a nursing student, which I'm very proud about, but it's definitely a learning curve in learning how to study. If I would have known how to study correctly and for my education type when I first started nursing school, I probably would have been getting A's out the gate, but I didn't. So hopefully I can help y'all avoid that part. So in this video we're going to talk about how I study in nursing school while I get ready. We're going to kill two birds with one stone. And I feel like just talking to people without giving y'all something to watch is very boring. If you're like me, I got a low attention span, okay? So we're just going to be doing a light no makeup look today. Nothing too crazy, nothing too advanced or complex. Real sweet. And then I'm also just going to be telling y'all how I study as a nursing student. So starting off, I broke this up into 2 different categories. So for me, my preparation to get an A in the class starts before the class even starts. Like, you don't have to do too much, enjoy your break, but probably like 2 days before your class starts, no, maybe like a week before your class starts, I make these things in my notes and I call them how I'm going to get an A in such and such class. So before the semester, I made a note called how I got, so I like to manifest the A. I like to really conjure it up. So I make a note called how I got an A in med surg. I make a separate one, how I got an A in psych, how I got an A in nursing research. And that really helps. So basically how I make this is I create a well-researched plan. So what I mean by creating a well-researched plan is I gather different resources from different people about the class, how they study for it, what kind of the class is going to entail, how the exams are, how the lectures are, how the teachers grade, what kind of assignments I can expect, what I can expect to be on the test. And I do this in a various of different ways. So this is going to kind of vary like drastically how you do this based off what school you go to. For my school, there is a very well-known Reddit page. And there's a girl and she makes guides to so-and-so school nursing. So she basically goes class by class and she breaks down each class that you're going to take that semester, and she kind of tells you which tests were the hardest, how she studied, you know, from her peers, what they had the most trouble with, what to expect. And for me, that kind of just puts a lot of things to rest for me, just because when you're there and the test is coming up, it's really hard to just not panic when you see all these things. Having a plan beforehand really helps me out. So like, for example, I just recently made my one for critical care. I usually don't make it this early, but I want to really, after the 13th and I'm out of school, I want to really be able to enjoy my break. Like, I don't want to see school, talk about school. I don't want to do nothing school. I don't want to do anything school. So because of that, I made my how I'm going to get an A in critical care. I read the Reddit sheet. She literally went test by test and talked about basically like what you can expect on each test, as well as which tests were the hardest. She claims that exam 2 was the hardest test and it requires you to read EKG strips. I can expect that now, and I can kind of use a little bit of time. Like, I can anticipate that exam 2 is going to be the hardest. That way I can incorporate a little bit more time to study for an exam 2. And then also, I create this plan using Reddit, and then I also ask previous students I know. So if you know any students in your program, one second. If you know any students in your program who've already taken the classes before you or ahead of you in the program, just ask them. Like, don't be scared to reach out to people. Just ask them, like, hey, could you tell me a little bit about so-and-so, this class? I did that all the time. By the way, take everything you hear or see with a grain of salt, but if you see hear it reinforced from multiple different people, multiple different platforms, it's probably true. Lastly, student success. My school has student success. Everyone has access to student success. I can see I can see all the classes from the whole program. I look at that student success. I look and see what they say about it, the resources they provide. And then also, I do go on TikTok. I kind of don't do this a lot, but like sometimes you will learn about some good resources. Like, for example, for critical care, I learned about a resource called, let me see what it's called. Hold on. I learned about a resource called ICU Advantage. This breaks down specifically for like the clinical portion, how to do different things, what types of machines for that critical care thing, because most nursing school like resources that we normally use, like YouTube videos and stuff, they don't go as in deep, like Level Up RN, all them, they don't have a separate like critical care playlist. I know a lot of schools don't even have a critical care class. Mine does, so I need to lock in. And then from there, I just kind of make a plan. So I make a plan based on what everyone says. How I'm gonna study. I think about what kind of resources I can use. I think about how much time realistically I'm going to need to put aside for this class and for these tests. And there's a thing in nursing school, or in any type of school really, I feel like, any degree, where normally for a lot of people the first exam is kind of their lowest exams, or they don't do as good as they could have done on an exam, just because you simply don't know what to expect. This is everyone's first time taking the class, so you don't know what to expect. You don't know what kind of information to look out for in the PowerPoints, and it really can kind of mess you up. It can kind of mess you up because usually, unfortunately, the first exam is usually the easiest exam, but it's usually not people's best exam, even though it's the easiest, because you just don't know what to expect, and it takes time to kind of learn how to study for each class. But by the time, what you don't want, so this is kind of the reason why I make this before the semester starts, that how to get an A, it gives me kind of a guide to go off of. And since I've started doing it, I have noticed that my first exams are no longer my lowest exams. My first semester of nursing school, my first exams were so treacherous that even though I got an A on every single exam after that, I still did not get an A in the class. in nursing school, your exams count for a very big part of your grade. So bombing exams will tear you up, and it will be hard to come back from, just being honest. If you can just do something small, like creating this list to have your first exam be probably your best exam, because it usually is the easiest, or have it at least be a good starting point, you will want to do that, you know? Like for me, for example, in psych, my first exam was my best exam. My first exam was 100% my best exam. My first exam in psych, I got a 95. That put me at such a good level that pretty much all my other exams, I got maybe, I think I got one more A, and then, well, we only have 3 exams in psych. So I got like a low B, I think, on my second exam. Not a low B, but like I got like, I think an 85, 84, something like that. Like it wasn't as good, and that was just because personally I did not study as much for it, because I ate that first test up. And it just helps kind of combat that. In nursing school, one thing you're going to learn is that every single point counts. Every single point counts, I promise you, because they usually don't round. They usually don't give extra credit. So you're just SOL, pretty much. If you don't lock in and do it the whole way through, you will not get that grade you want, especially if you're like me and you're shooting for A's. And then I don't want to discourage people. Like, if you don't have a good first exam, it's really not the end of the world. It's definitely to be expected, you know, but it does make your life harder on you. Like, just being honest, it does make your life harder on you throughout the semester. Like, at the point I'm in now, because I've done so well on my previous exams for finals, I'm gonna study a lot, don't get me wrong, because I just am going to, because you never know. But I would literally have to do so incredibly bad on my finals to fail. I think to fail the class, I would have to get 30s on my finals. 30s, maybe a 25 in psych. I would literally have to do so treacherous to fail, because I've done so well on my exams. To get a B, I would have to at least get a 50. I've never gotten a 50 ever in nursing school, because I'm on point with that studying. And then to keep my A's, okay, you have to do kind of good. To keep my A's, I gotta, you know, I gotta chew it a little bit. I think I have to get like an 80 something in psych, and then in med surg I would have to get like an A again. But like I said, I don't have to stress about finals, because I've been putting in the work from that before the first exam. Okay, now we're gonna move on to the next portion of the video, which is how I study for exams. This is what y'all really clicked on the video to hear, but I feel like that first portion is so essential to getting the results you want, basically, in the semester. So let's get into it. For first things first, you need to use the resources that your school gives you. Every school is different. For example, my school gives us exam blueprints. I don't think I can put the blueprint on the screen. That probably is against the rules, honestly. So I'm not going to put it on the screen. But my school usually gives us an exam blueprint. And what the exam blueprint has on it is it basically has like the exam blueprint basically has all the topics that are going to be on the exam. So for example, I'm just going to talk about my most recent med-surg exam because it's fresh on my mind. For my most recent med-surg exam, we had 4 topics, which is the least amount of topics we've ever had on a med-surg test. We normally have much more, but it's because the topics were very big and they had a lot of questions from each topic. So my last med-surg exam was about gastrointestinal, musculoskeletal, urinary, and then biliary and pancreas disorders. Those were the 4 different topics. They put biliary and pancreas together. There was 20 questions from gastrointestinal, 20 questions from musculoskeletal, 10 questions from urinary, 10 questions from biliary and pancreas. Okay. Also, on those exam blueprints, it tells you what's going to be on the exam, how many questions, and it also gives me exam objectives. For me, I know it's different for every school. Our exam blueprints are incredibly accurate. I don't know if everywhere's like that, but like, if it's on that blueprint, it will 100% be on that exam. So So I use that to guide my studying, okay? But side note, just because it's not on the blueprint doesn't mean it won't be on the exam, which sucks. I know. But the good thing is, nursing school curriculum is it's very like standardized. If you use multiple resources, you can pretty much be prepared for the exam and know that whatever you study will be on the exam. So I never read the textbook. This is very controversial. I'm not telling y'all don't read the textbook. I'm just saying I don't read the textbook. This is how I study. I don't read that textbook. Never have, probably never will. I don't find it helpful. I actually think it harms me because of the way I think. I can never, in the textbook, it makes everything seem important. I can never pick out what I'm supposed to be focusing on. Those textbooks are hundreds of pages, like so many chapters, so much information, and I feel like I would just waste my time looking at information that's not even going to be on the test, because at least just at my school, our textbooks are just so like out of order. Like I just can't read all that, and I would not even know what to study for. So I have never read a textbook the whole time I've been in nursery school, and I'm doing fine. But then you just have to be conscious about how you learn. So if you know that you learn by reading, you should probably pick up that textbook. I'm gonna be honest, you probably need to pick up that textbook. I'm not that person. I can read like nobody's business, and I still don't know the information. I just don't. Like, it doesn't help me one bit. It doesn't make anything easier for me. So I just feel like, why would I do it? So I don't. That's just me being real. I don't read the textbook, and I probably never will. But what I do, that's really what I do. What I do, and I put so many of my friends onto this. So I use AI to my exam advantage. You should never be using AI to do your work. Okay, I don't support that. I don't support that, and I don't do it. But you can definitely use your resources, okay? AI is such a resource that we are blessed to have, because maybe the nurses that came before us, they did not have it, and we do. So let's thank God and also Jesus, okay? So what I do use ChatGPT for is to create my study guide. I input the blueprint from my class gives me into ChatGPT, and then I put create a detailed but concise. No, I usually put detailed. Don't put but concise, because they might concise it too much. I usually put create a detailed study plan for my medical surgical nursing class, using only information from, and then I'll put like the citation to my textbook, and ChatGPT will pull information from my textbook so that I know it's accurate to what the class is being taught over. I know the numbers are accurate, the reference ranges are accurate, and then also I think ChatGPT really condenses it a lot if you just put the whole blueprint together. So I go topic by topic. I put in the blueprint and the objectives for musculoskeletal. I'll copy that onto my study guide, and then I'll put the blueprint and the objectives for so and so. Like, I'll just keep going. I do it one at a time, one topic at a time, because I think it gives you a more detailed explanation, basically. And this saves me so much time from reading that textbook, or even not just reading the textbook, but looking for the information to fill in for the objectives. If I have to look for all that information, I might as well just read the textbook, because it's going to take a long time to find, okay? Hold on, I'm going so slow doing my makeup. I clearly don't know how to multitask. Where's my... Oh, here it goes. So, next. Once I get that detailed view of my study guide, so I don't copy and paste from ChatGPT into the study guide. What I do is I literally hand type it out. Hand typing it helps me literally look at the information, and I try to talk myself through it while I'm typing it out to see what I understand and what I don't understand. Any topics that are not clicking immediately, like even if it takes a minute, I write that down, and we're gonna come back to what I do with that later. The first thing I'm doing once I'm done transferring the information onto my study guide is I create a Quizlet based on just the information, like nothing else, just the information that I have to memorize. So in nursing school, there's going to be some things that you just need to know. Like, it's not every test. The bigger concept is understanding the information, but there will be things that you just have to know. Like, it's no way around it. It's not no, oh, like, I understand the concept. Some stuff you just need to know. An example of some of those things are going to be reference ranges. Like, it's not, yes, you need to understand what hypokalemia, you know, is and what the process is doing to the body, but you also need to know those ranges. Like, you just have to memorize it. It's not anything that you can just, that is like, you just have to know it. Any things that come up like that, like reference ranges or like specific diagnostic criteria, the measurements to distinguish stage 1 from stage 2 hypertension, anything that's straight up memorization, I make a Quizlet for the test, before the test, because I just have to memorize it. Okay, I don't need to understand anything. I just need to know it. I need to be able to be like, okay, potassium 3.5 to 5, you know. To do that, to help yourself memorize all that stuff, you can just put it in the Quizlet and keep doing it. Eventually you will memorize it, but I like to give everything a mnemonic. Okay, everything a mnemonic to help me remember it. So like, for example, for potassium, mine was bananas have 3 to 5 in a bunch. There, you remember it now, because 9 times out of 10, even if the mnemonics are not exact, it puts you in enough mind to be able to remember the exact mnemonic. And even if you can't remember the exact reference range based on the mnemonic, you know the reference, okay? Because 9 times out of 10, since every source has different references for electrolytes or like criteria and all that, has different sources and has different views on it, like between ATI, between your textbook, between anything else credible, there's slight variances. Most of the time, unless your professor is just a jerk, it's gonna be very out of whack. Like, your professor's not gonna say, oh, your patient has a potassium of 3.4 if your reference range is 3.5. They're not gonna say that. They're gonna say something out of whack. The patient has a potassium of 2.5. Boom, you're automatically thinking hypokalemia. You got it. Certain things, like other things I need to memorize, like for my test that had electrolyte values on it, I knew off bat, like I needed to know the EKG changes that that are expected with hypokalemia and hyperkalemia. You just memorize it. It's not like, some stuff is not even that complex to be trying to do all this extra stuff. It's just, you have to memorize it. You have to. Hypokalemia, prominent U waves, flattened T waves. Like, you just need to memorize it. Like, so I will make Quizlets for those topics. Stuff I just need to memorize, like I just need to know it off the top of my head, I will make a Quizlet for that stuff. Honestly, I use the flashcard setting on Quizlet because that's active recall. If you have multiple choice options, you can do process of elimination, all that. You probably won't have that on the test. You're just gonna have to know it off the top of your head. So I would do the flashcards and I would, like, you know, change the settings, shuffle it so I don't get used to the order it goes in. What are the ECG changes you can affect? Why can't I talk? What are the ECG changes you can expect with hypokalemia? Boom, turn around. Do I know it? I say it, I'll do it. I turn the card around. Do I know it or not? If I don't know it, swipe it. You don't know it, you're gonna see it again. I would do it as many times as you have to be consistently getting everything right. And I do mean consistently. Like, I say once you can do it twice and you got every card right, you probably know it. And then, of course, just do it again the morning of or the night before the test to ensure that it's fresh in your mind. That's what I do. I think it helps, and I think it makes things easier because I can separate the information I just need to know, straight up know it, from the information I need to understand. Straight up knowing it is way easier. I can just create that Quizlet, look at it every couple days, however much time I'm studying for the test, and I'll know it. The information you need to understand is very different. So, oh, also, I'll hold on that Quizlet. I don't just put references. I'll also put like the most characteristic signs and symptoms of each disorder, like things I just need to know or things that they might ask me to differentiate between. For example, I always like to think what separates tuberculosis from all the other respiratory infections or respiratory illnesses. It's night sweats. I promise y'all, like once you can start to kind of like pick out that information, you'll be golden. Because realistically, a lot of these disorders have the same signs and symptoms. They have the same like presentation. Like everything will probably have like one or two things that you need to be able to differentiate. If you can remember those one or two things, you'll honestly be cool. Because like realistically, if you can think of the patho of it, you probably can think of the signs and symptoms. But if you just comes to signs and symptoms, every time I see night sweats, the first thing I'm thinking of is tuberculosis. Same thing with like differentiating between two things. I'll also put that on there. They love to ask about how to like left-sided heart failure versus right-sided heart failure. The symptoms is easy. Left-sided heart failure, the fluid backs up into the lungs. L for lungs. Right-sided heart failure, rest of the body. It's in the rest of the body. That's where you're gonna like you just gotta come up with these mnemonics. Like you gotta get creative with it, because it's so much stuff to memorize that you just have to be able to know it and memorize it. The mnemonics help a lot, okay? For the topics that I don't understand, I spoke on that a little bit earlier, that when I'm transferring the information, if I don't understand the topic, you know where you're gonna go? You're gonna go to YouTube University. YouTube University is gonna cut it up for me every single time. When I tell you YouTube University eats, especially because what my professor is gonna say, no, not shout to my professors, but what my professor is gonna take 3 hours to say, baby, Nurse Kathy from Level Up RN, she gonna get it done 5 to 10 minutes. Donezo. And I understand it well, and it's there. If I ever forget, I can watch that 5 to 10 minutes refreshed. Boom. For bigger topics, I don't really watch Simple Nursing a lot because I'm not paying for that software, I'm not gonna lie, and it pisses me off whenever I'm like watching a video, he's eating it up, and then it's like, oh, to see the full video, pay for our stuff. No, I'm not paying for nothing. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not paying for it. I pay for one thing throughout nursing school, and I do recommend it, but I'll tell you what it is in a minute. So boom, anything I don't understand, YouTube University. I specifically like Simple Nursing's video about electrolyte imbalances. What else did I watch? Heart failure, like the big topics. Simple Nursing gonna get you right, and he has such good mnemonics, like such good mnemonics. He eats the mnemonics up. Like he has such good memorization tricks. Like he does his big one, I'm not gonna lie. Who else? So yeah, after I do that, I'm clarifying. I feel like I have a pretty good generalized understanding of the topics. Now we just want to make sure that we really understand. We're going to drill it in. I create Notebook LM podcasts for all of the topics on the test, and I watch them. I try to watch them before and after the class, or I don't go to class, so that's another thing. I don't go to class, but I try to watch them before and after I go over the information. Sometimes that don't happen. Sometimes I just watch them after. You can assess what you know what you do and don't understand. Okay, so if I understand the topic, like some things came very easy to me. Vascular disorders came very easy to me. That peripheral, like a lot of people struggle with differentiating. That was not me. It snapped. But then some things just did not click as easy. Like what's something that did? Urinary tore me up, y'all. I don't know why. And you know what it is? I really think it comes down to A&P. Like, please, if you're a pre-nursing student and you're there were certain disorders that I just did not pay attention to in A&P. I'm gonna be real with you. And I can literally tell, like, those disorders when they come back up in nursing school, it tears me up. Gastrointestinal, I did not pay attention. I don't know what was going on with me that test, but like I just was not feeling it. Like that was my lowest test. Like I did so bad on that test in A&P. Even though I got an A in the class, like yeah, it just really tore me up. And I still have a very bad knowledge deficit of gastrointestinal till this day. So when it came down to the gastrointestinal test, it tore me up, y'all, because I really should have went back and reviewed that A&P in depth. I didn't. And that was my fault. I thought I could toughen through it. I thought, what's that much to understand? I couldn't. I didn't eat. And you're gonna have times like that. All you can do is learn and move on. But back to the Notebook LM. Notebook LM is like this AI software, and it makes a podcast basically talking about the notes that you upload to it in a conversation format. So it will literally talk about it in a conversation format. I also like to put in the little description box to touch on every single thing on this document, touch on it on the podcast, and I also tell them that they can use patient scenarios. So that makes them basically be like, oh, well, a patient comes into the ED presented with da 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 da. What do you think they have? What are your next steps? What do you anticipate doing? And I like that because it helps me walk me through the type of thinking that I'm gonna have to do on the test. If you get what I'm saying. I feel like y'all understand. Y'all not slow. Last but not least, the practice questions. You have to lock in on them practice questions, y'all. Y'all have to, because I promise you, you can know the information down. I'm talking about you know this information like the back of your hand. It does not matter. It doesn't matter at all, because I promise you, you don't know how to answer that question, you're done so. You're done so, baby. Nursing school questions are such a different breed. Like, they literally do not play. I don't know who comes up with this stuff. I don't know what beef they have with me as a person, because they clearly have some. But like, the way they ask the questions is so mind-boggling. I often like think like, who sat down and came up with this? Who? Like, I can know the information down, and I just, like, if you don't know how to answer the question, you're donezo. You're donezo, I'm not gonna lie. And the only way you're gonna know how to answer the question, it's literally just a learned skill. Like, you just have to do practice questions. You have to. And also, when you do the practice questions, you'll start to notice that for each subject, like, they ask about the same stuff. Especially for ATI. I'll get into the ATI exam last, but they ask about the same stuff. You'll notice, like, they're gonna ask about the same exact stuff. So from doing practice questions, there's only so many ways you can ask me about how to differentiate between peripheral arterial disease or chronic venous insufficiency. There's only so many ways you can ask me to differentiate it. If I do practice questions, I've seen this before. It's easy, cakewalk. I'm in there. Bow. It's nothing. So yeah, y'all definitely need to be on y'all Zoom with them practice questions. Not gonna lie, y'all need to get on y'all Zoom with them practice questions. You have to. It's actually not negotiable. It's actually not negotiable at all. Also, for practice question, I purchased a book. So this is actually the only thing that I purchased for nursing school that I think is relevant, and you need to get it, y'all. Mine is the Saunders, let me say the exact name. Mine is the Saunders NCLEX Resources, not that book itself. I have the Evolve Resources. It has hundreds of practice questions for every single topic that you're going to go through in nursing school, for med surg, psych, everything. It's really NCLEX prep, y'all. That's really what it is. It's NCLEX prep resources. But through nursing school, the practice questions eat down, and you have access to it if you buy the online version for, like, I think like 3 years. So you can use it for NCLEX prep too, y'all. It's so freaking good. They have hundreds of practice questions. I actually got recommended it by my school. Like, my school is how I even found out about it. They recommended it, and it really helps, because some practice questions are just not reliable. Like, they're just not. Like, my first test of med surg, I was using like just practice questions online. Like, I was just using like the ones from like Register Nurse RN. And don't get me wrong, those free resources that she gives out are amazing. Like, that's so nice to get out free resources, but they simply were just too easy for what my nursing school was giving us. Like, the questions she were asking were not. My nursing school, baby, they wouldn't even put that on a kindergartner test. Like, it was too easy. My nursing school had way more complex questions, way harder questions. Like, it was really bad. So I had to get something that was gonna lock in. Baby, nothing is gonna tear you up more than them NCLEX style questions. So getting your questions from an NCLEX prep book is probably the best way to go, unless your school gives you practice questions. My school doesn't. They don't give us practice questions. They recommended this. They said buy it or don't, but it's gonna help. And they were right. So when you're doing your practice questions, wherever you're getting them from, whatever you're doing them, write down every single question you get wrong. I would just write it down in like my notes, or either in a Word document, and I would always go back and review those questions the night before or the morning of the test. A lot of people don't believe in doing stuff the morning of the test. I think that's when I'm most productive. I be getting stuff done. I wake up probably 2 hours before my test, and it really essentially the thought process behind it, I'm not a neuroscientist, but I'm gonna tell y'all what I think, why it works. So if you got the question wrong, that means after all that stuff I just told you beforehand, you don't know it. You don't, like, you're not grasping it. You don't understand, like, something is not clicking. By reviewing that information that you don't know, but the morning of the test, it's fresh. Like, it's fresh on your brain. Like, you will not forget it. And I think that's why it really helps me. I do it for all my tests, no matter what. I always review the morning before. Even if I don't have much to review, I'm gonna find something to review and I'm gonna review it, because I stand by it. Like, I really think it helps. Side note, and that's basically how I study. I do want to add something about active recall. I'm lazy. I don't think it really you know yourself, okay? Some people are naturally, like, smart. They grasp stuff quicker than most people. Like, it don't take that much for them. I was definitely one of those people before nursing school. Before nursing school, I probably had never studied, actually, like, a day in my life. And mind you, I came into nursing school straight from high school. I got my associate's degree of science in high school. I took all my prereqs in high school. I did not study. Even when I took pathophysiology and pharmacology, them were, like, prereqs for my nursing program. Like, we don't take them in the program, we take them as prereqs. So the way looking back on it, pharm was hell, and it probably wouldn't have been as hell if I would have been studying for real. I'm thinking I'm studying by, like, looking at these notes the night before, but that is not real studying. And I did not understand that till I got in nursing school, and foundations tore me up, y'all. And that's so embarrassing, because foundations is probably, like, one of the easiest classes in nursing school, but it tore me up. I just did not understand. Like, nothing was clicking to me. The information seemed so, like, so straight to the point, so, like, self-explanatory, but it clearly wasn't self-explanatory because I wasn't getting it. And when I did think I knew the information, I would get to the test and I was just looking stuck. You know how many times I was just staring at that screen like, damn, I thought I was gonna eat it up. I knew first 3 questions, I'm done for. And that's just because I did not know how to study for real. Here's my view on active recall. If you see any nursing student, especially on TikTok or like anywhere like that, they're gonna tell you to get that whiteboard. Okay, I'm gonna tell y'all the real. I'm lazy. I bought the whiteboard. I thought I was gonna use it. I probably have not used that whiteboard once the whole time I've been in nursing school, because I just feel like, you don't hear me wrong, if you don't want to do it, don't. You have to find ways to study that are enjoyable for you. I mean, studying's not enjoyable, but like, I'd be so miserable. Like, it doesn't work for me, okay? It probably will work. And I think I am gonna use it next semester, because I'm really scared about critical care, y'all. Like, I'm really scared. But if you don't want to use the whiteboard, y'all, you don't have to. It's ways you can get around it and still get the grades, okay? That's just my 2 cents. If you don't want to use the whiteboard, I'm gonna tell you how. If you need that extra help, maybe I understand, because I need it, but I'm gonna tell you how you use the whiteboard. So basically what you're gonna do is you're gonna take that objectives list, that study guide y'all made earlier. You're gonna write all of that on a whiteboard. You can write it in whatever way massages your brain the best. If you want to use little pictures, draw little diagrams, whatever you want to do, you draw that whiteboard. Go topic by topic. Not topic by topic as in like heart failure and all that. That's gonna take too long. You need a big whiteboard, and you need to go topic by topic as in like cardiovascular, okay? A big topic, big picture topics. You're gonna write down all the mini topics under cardiovascular on the board. So heart failure, hypertension, whatever your school is teaching on, write all that. From there, you're gonna write down everything you need to know about those topics on that whiteboard. It's gonna take a minute. That's why I don't do it, I'm lazy. You're gonna write down everything you need to know from the topic on the whiteboard. Boom, you take a picture. You take a picture, you take a picture. You take a picture of it on your iPad, phone, whatever. From there, you're gonna do that for every single topic on the test. Like how I said, I had 4 different topics. I had musculoskeletal, gastrointestinal, biliary, and then urinary. I would do 4 different whiteboards. Like I would erase all of it, do 4 different whiteboards with all the different disorders from all those topics on the board. Boom. Once you do that, you erase everything. Now you go in and you're gonna write at the top of the thing, cardiovascular, and you can write this. If you want to really challenge yourself, you don't even write the subheadings, but I think that's too hard. You write the subheadings. So you're just gonna write heart failure, the same places you put them last time. Heart failure, hypertension, whatever. From there, off the dome, you're gonna go in with a black marker and you're gonna write everything that you remember that you had on that board before. Don't be discouraged if it's not nothing on there, because it happens to us. Like when I tried to do it, I was irritated because I'm like, why do I remember this? I just did it. But that's how it's gonna be on the test. Like literally on the test, there's nothing in front of you jogging your memory. Like sometimes you can use context clues, but 9 out of 10, you just gotta know it. Especially if your school does them time question. Luckily my school doesn't do that, but if they do them time questions, you just need to know it off the dome. After you do it all, write what you remember in black. You're gonna go in with any other color marker and you're gonna fill in everything you missed. Everything you left out, you missed based off your reference picture, fill it out. You're gonna do that for every topic. You're gonna repeat doing it. Like that's why I say it takes too long. I'm not doing that. Like I'm just being real myself. There's like sometimes it be like 16 topics on the test. I'm not finna sit here and write 16 whiteboards 40 different times. Like it's a lot. But if that's what you have to do to get that desired outcome, you gotta do it. Like at the end of the day. Luckily I didn't have to do it. I didn't have to do that. But you know, it's very effective. I will not gonna lie. The research is there. The testimonials is there. I'm just not gonna do it. Maybe I will next semester. We'll see. I was thinking about going and doing it for my final exam because it's a lot of information I need to know. But like the thought of writing out 16 whiteboards makes me itch a little bit. Like it really does. But man, you just basically keep repeating that process over and over again until what you wrote down with your black marker looks exactly like the reference picture. It may take 2 times, it may take 3, it may take 10. You just keep going until you got it. It's a very effective form of studying. I'm just not dedicated enough. Next semester I will though, because I promise y'all if I don't get this B in med, I mean if I get a B in med surg, if y'all don't know, I've been on a journey with med surg. That class I hate it. It's actually my least favorite class in nursing school. It's just so out of whack. Like it's too much information in one class, and I actually blame that on the fact that my school has med surg. We don't, like a lot of nursing schools have med surg 1, med surg 2. That helps because it breaks it up into like less information. Like it's too much stuff. Med surg is literally everything. It's everything, and they can ask you about everything. Like that's one thing about nursing school. Never, if you try to tell your teacher that they didn't go based off the blueprint, they're not going to care, because you know what they're going to tell you? You're never going to know everything about nursing. You need to learn how to use your critical thinking skills even if you don't know. Y'all about to trigger me for real. But yeah, so it's just so much information that I be trying my best, y'all. But I was really shooting for all A's this semester. It's looking like it's going to be all A's and 1 B, which is probably gonna be med surg, and it's gonna be a high B too, y'all. It's gonna be like an 89. I'm pissed, but all my B's have been like that. Every B I've gotten, I've never gotten a B lower than an 88. They do me so dirty, y'all. They do me so dirty. Like y'all can't round this up. Literally in what was called in assessments, I literally ended off the class with an 89.9. I could have threw my phone at the wall, y'all. That's the class I told y'all that I did so sucky on the first exam. That first exam tore me up, that even though I got an A on every single exam after that, I still didn't get an A in the class. I was triggered, y'all. I was very triggered. But like at the end of the day, I'm not one of them people that says C's get degrees, because C's get degrees but they don't get into grad school. Don't shoot the messenger, okay? I plan on going back to school eventually. I don't know when, I don't know for what, I don't know how, I don't know when, why, but I plan on doing it eventually, and I don't want to have to retake classes. So yes, I'm being very mindful of my grades. You don't plan on ever going back? Don't stress yourself out, baby. Do you, boo? But just being real, I hate when people say C's get degrees and mislead these folks. Then they over here with a 2.0 trying to apply to CRNA school looking stupid. I don't got nothing to say to you. And that's just me being real, y'all. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm actually being serious. Like, I'm being real. Because I hate when people get on here lying. Like, yes, that's what you want to hear to make you feel better. C's get degrees, which that's very true. But like, if you have any types of plans to further your education, that C is not gonna cut it, baby. It's really not. Especially for MP school, you might could do it. You might can, because like MP school is not nearly as competitive as CRNA school. But like, if you want to go to CRNA school, you want to go to. All I can do is pray for you, baby. Bow your heads, close your eyes. And y'all, hold on, wait. Let me clock you real quick. Also, be mindful of your grades, because if you live in a big city, that them nurse residency programs is literally like crabs trying to get out of a bucket. I don't care. They used to say they gonna hire anybody with a pulse. That's not true. You don't want to make it. If you don't want to work in med surg, you're gonna need a lot more than a pulse, baby. And they are gonna have them transcripts. They're gonna have them grades. If they see you can barely pass nursing school, you got C's and everything, you think you're gonna get hired first over the person that got all A's? I'm not saying you going. I pray everybody get a job. Amen. The job of their dreams. But we have to be real with ourselves, and we have to think about our future when we're getting these grades. So be very mindful. That's all I'm saying. I got off track. Y'all know, if you watch my videos, you're used to it. But let me finish this video up with the last part of the video that I want to touch on. Let me do my lips first. So the last part of this video is going to be the bane of my existence, my least favorite part of the semester, ATI. So at my school, I know at some schools y'all take ATI exams throughout the semester. My school's not like that. We take one ATI exam. So we take our ATI like proctored exam. It's usually before finals. So we take it before finals. And we still have a final for the school. So don't get it twisted. But it's before finals. And it's on ATI. And yeah, that proctored exam. So if you don't know, the ATI proctored exams, which I'm assuming you know, because you're either about to go into nursing school or you're in it. But I'll still say it, because I had no idea what ATI was before I started nursing school. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know the beast I was about to go up against. So let's clock it. ATI is the resource that makes the T's, makes all this other stuff for nursing school. Like, they make the standardized test, right? That being said, ATI has proctored exams that most nursing schools are going to require you to take for every single class. Med surg, fundamentals, psych, leadership, like all the classes, you're gonna take it. That being said, ATI is not, you don't get a score based off your percentage. You get a score based off levels. The levels are based off how well you're doing in comparison to all the other nursing students in the nation. So it's basically based off percentile. So for example, these numbers are a little wonky, but I'll put the, because that's public information, I'll put the grading scales on the screen for ATI. Basically, a level 1 is usually like 60, like, I don't know, it's usually like 55, 60. It's not hard to get a level 1, I'm not gonna lie. A level 2, usually like 69, 68, somewhere around there, close to a 70. Level 3 is usually like above an 85. Yeah. My first ATI exam, I was under the impression that I had been getting A's on my exams in that class. So I'm like, I don't really need to do too much studying. No. ATI pulls stuff out there behind, okay? ATI will ask you about anything in that textbook. I promise you, if it's a small line, if it's one sentence on the bottom of chapter 55, page 368, they don't care. It'll be a question. ATI does not care at all. They don't ask big picture stuff. Don't screw yourself thinking they're gonna get asked big picture. It's detailed. Very detailed. They also have these things called case studies, where it's basically like a patient came into this. What are you thinking? What are the priority interventions? Sometimes they make you compare and contrast different diseases and different interventions. It's very off the wall. Like, I literally, like, they'll ask you like to compare and contrast the symptoms of a stroke, a migraine, and meningitis. What? Like, it's so off the wall, y'all. I'm sorry. Like, ATI is really strange. I'm sorry. Then on top of that, once you take like your med-surg ATI, the information builds. So they don't just have to ask you about information from med-surg, from that med-surg textbook. They want to take it back to fundamentals, they can take it back, and they will. Like, on my practice test, I think the first question on the practice test was a question about how to go up the stairs using crutches. Y'all, I'm so annoyed. Like, they just ask you anything, and it's very specific. I'm gonna tell y'all what to do. This is how I study for ATI. All transparency, I got a level 3 on my psych ATI exam, and I got a level 2 on my med-surg ATI exam. Both exams I studied probably 3 days. I was supposed to study more, I didn't. We've already talked, I'm a little lazy, okay? Here's what I do. There's no impossible way, like, you can't go read that whole textbook, especially if you haven't been reading it as the semester went by. You're SOL. And they're so long, especially the med-surg one is so long, you can't go back and read it all. Here's what you gotta do. So basically what I do is, they give you practice tests. The practice test, they might give A, B, all this other stuff. I don't do that dynamic quizzing. I don't do none of that. I take practice test A and I give myself, I see my baseline. If I take practice test A and I get a level 2 according to the standards, y'all getting 3 days of studying from me. 3 days, that's it. That's it. Maybe 2. If you take that first quiz and you get a level 1, baby, lock in. You gotta lock in. You gotta give yourself like at least a week, week and a half. Like, the baseline is so important to know where we're starting at. Y'all, this burns. I can't even put this on, y'all. What the hell? This burn worse than the heat. Y'all, this is his Fenty Ice. I'm sorry, I was trying to keep talking, but like, it's actually really burning really badly. Oh my gosh. Y'all. Oh my. I'm sorry, y'all. That was crazy. That actually burnt really bad. So, back to what I was saying before I was rudely interrupted. So, you take the practice test A for baseline. See where you at. The practice tests are not proctored, so you can technically cheat. Like, if your school makes you turn them in, you can cheat. Don't cheat, period, in nursing school, because it's somebody's life. But especially for this, you're not hurting nobody but yourself, because you're going to be looking at them and you using the textbook, you using notes, you using all this. You're not going to have any of that on that test. Take it raw and in charge. I don't do no studying before. I sit in my bed and I just get the typing. I just take the test. And honestly, if it's something I don't know, I don't even spend all that time trying to guess. I just click an answer, because what's the point? After you're done taking the test, you're going to get an IPP, an individual performance profile. That'll tell you your score, but it also gives you topics to review. That's why I said don't just take the test. It'll give you individual topics, every question you got wrong, and it gives you topics to review, as well as it helps you find the topic. It'll take you to the topic in the textbook. So that's what I do. I'll do the focus review, right? I do the focus review, and I look, and it takes you to that place in the textbook, right? So it'll take me to, if I got wrong, side effects of I don't know, of SSRIs. It'll take me to that part in the textbook. It highlights it. You can read just that part. You know, brush up on it. Take down some notes. You go through all that. After I do my topics to review, I take that same practice test again. again, but not the same day, because you're just going to remember the answers. You're just going to know it all back. I take it again maybe like 3 days after. I got short-term memory, so I be done forgot it. From there, I take it again, and then I look at my topics to review from that. The idea is you should have gotten a better score, because some stuff is just you just needed a refresher. Like some stuff is just like I just didn't know, or I need a refresher, or some weird ATI thing. Like the topics you still have to review is stuff you really don't know. Write them down. Write them down. Just write them down on your notes, on a note, on a Word document, wherever you want to write them down. Write them down. Then I take practice test B, and I take the final quiz, like the standard quiz, the final quiz. I take all of them. From there, I write down, I have a list of all the topics I had to review. When I take those topics, I basically I either read the textbook, or I'll watch a Level Up RN video, whatever I'm doing to kind of supplement and understand that content. From there, that's what I'm saying. For ATI, it's literally practice questions. Like, it's literally practice questions. From there, I review all that information. I take all those tests again. All of them again. If you don't want to, don't take practice test A again, because at that point, you're taking it twice. But like practice test B, the final exam, I take both of them again. If I am not at the level that I want to be at, which for me is level 2. I'm real with myself. For me, I'm always shooting for a level 3. But a level 2 is comfortable for me. If I'm at a level 2, I'm done studying. I'm logging out. I'm done studying. I know enough. I know enough. Okay, I'm done. If I'm still at a level 1, or if I'm barely at a level 2, like for example, for med surg, a level 2 was a 69. I'm the day before the test. No, like 2 days before the test. I'm 2 days before the test. I took me a practice test. Y'all, why I got a 69.2? I said no. So at that point, I locked in. Like, I locked in bad. All the types of reviews, I went through them. I took dynamic quizzes. I took them tests. Like, I ate it up. It's just practice questions, y'all. ATI is like, I don't know. It's like you're trying to get to know a sociopath. Like, you just got to understand how their brain works. You got to understand what they want you to say. And then ATI ask about the same stuff all the time. That's why I take all those different quizzes. They ask about the same stuff. My med surg exam, I could tell you what's going to be on the test before. You just got to learn how to pick up on that stuff. Like, for example, stuff I knew they were going to ask me about, tuberculosis. They love asking about tuberculosis. They love asking about that rifampin. They love, I don't know, what's it called, isoniazid. They just really love asking about tuberculosis. They love asking about the airborne precautions. They love asking about how long do you have to do the treatment. They love asking about what the drugs are. They love asking about the side effects of the drugs. They love asking about patient teaching. Like, I don't know why they love some tuberculosis down. So stuff like that, if I kept seeing it over and over again on all them different tests, you brush up on it. What else do they love asking about? I don't know. That's what they love asking about. Psych. What did they love asking me about? Alcohol withdrawal. Alcohol withdrawal, they love asking about it down. Oh, also, sorry, I just thought about this. This video is very all over the place right now. It was so organized in the beginning, but now I'm just talking. Also, for psych, you better brush up on them meds. Psych will tear you up with that farm. Psych was so farm heavy. The class was farm heavy too, but like ATI was farm heavy. For med surg, you can kind of get away if you don't know that much farm. As long as you got a general idea, you should be cool. You should be able to guess. You should be able to get yourself together. Psych tore me up with them farm questions. That's why the morning of the test, like I said, I believe in that morning of the test, y'all. I wrote down all the drugs they kept asking me about for all different disorders. Drugs for schizophrenia, drugs for bipolar disorder, drugs for alcohol withdrawal, drugs for opioid withdrawal, drugs for all ADHD and kids, because they asked about that too. I don't know why. I asked about all that. I had my mom the morning of the test quizzing me on these drugs because I just need to know it for the next hour. I don't need to know it forever. I just need to know it for the next hour. I need to lock it in here. That's it. But yeah, long story short, ATI, practice questions and pray. Anyways, I love you guys. Mwah. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe, and turn on your post notification bells to be notified for all my Vlogmas vids, and also when the, life of the nursing students starts back up in January. This week that I'm filming right now, which will actually be the week after y'all are seeing this video, is gonna be my last week in the life of a nursing student, because I'm studying for finals this week and I'm taking my finals on Monday. Great for me, y'all. But yeah, I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching. If y'all have any additional questions or y'all need clarification on what I said in this video, comment down below. Oh, and also if y'all have any questions, I do plan on doing a nursing school Q&A at some point during Vlogmas. I don't know when, but on any Vlogmas videos or any nursing school videos, comment any questions y'all have down below and I will definitely answer them, because I understand, baby. I had a lot of questions and I had nobody to ask. So I'm just gonna be that for y'all. Like, yeah. I'm gonna be like the nursing school big sister. Or maybe little sister. Because most of y'all are actually older than me. I feel like most people don't know I'm only 18. But y'all are actually older than me. But like, still. Just sister. Okay, no big or little. We just sis. But yeah, I'm always up to answer any questions. Like, some of y'all be DMing me on Instagram or like on TikTok. Girl, I be answering. I don't be doing nothing. I need to be at a board doing active recall, but I don't. So yeah, I love you guys. Bye. Mwah. No bars.
I don't even say bye no more. I be like, mwah. No bars.